Hello ladies, welcome back to the Woman Experience. If you love content on womanhood, on growing, on evolving, on becoming your best self, on becoming the woman you've always wanted to be, stick around. And like I say here, we are always evolving, we are always elevating ourselves, and we are experiencing life in its totality, the good, the bad, and the lessons. Today's episode is the last in a series that I've been doing the past 2 weeks on being invisible. On episode number 1, please go watch it. I think we'll do it in the description box on signs that you might be feeling invisible. Then we went ahead and we did practical, actionable tips that you could take to start feeling like you matter and owning your worth. And now on this last episode, I want to share things that I necessarily did not share in the second one as practical tips, but these I'm sharing today, they are more long-term. So number 2, last week's episode was more on how do you start bouncing back. Today's episode, I want to focus on how do you stay on this path? How do you think about long term? How do you think always about making sure that you're always safeguarded, that you are honoring yourself, you're feeling seen, you're feeling joyous, that your spark is back. So think long term, this is for life. And I wanted to share things that I necessarily did not share in the second one on things that you could invest in for long-term growth. So if you would like to, you have not watched the other 2, please watch them and share it with a woman or a friend who you think could really benefit from this, because I came up with this because these are things I have experienced, I continue to experience, and so I'm taking you along on the journey. So yeah, sounds good? Let's get into the video. As always, I'm looking at my notes because I don't want to miss any reflections that I have when I think about the kind of content that I want to bring on your screen. So number 1, path to being visible in the long term is to learn a new skill or do something new. Now, you're starting to feel better. You're starting to do you've done your affirmations, you're speaking out more. Go the extra mile and do learn a new skill. Do something new you've ever done. There's nothing that lights up your life like trying to learn a skill or do something that you've never done. Because you start to feel alive, you start to feel visible. For me, for example, a skill I'm learning is how to do YouTube videos and to face the camera. And it's hard, but I'm excited because this is something that's making me feel like I am contributing to something. And it could just be for fun. Take up that language class, learn how to swim, learn how to crochet. There's so many interesting things nowadays. You can, join a network of people who are learning something or doing something that is interesting. And I find this, what it often does, especially for us as women, it takes you out of this rut of this, doing the same thing all over every day. And it just brings you a certain, joy and vibrance towards life. So do try a new skill, try something new, because it will also raise your confidence levels. And it will remind you that, apart from being a mom, a wife, a sister, I also am capable of doing much, much more. And to remind you of how amazing you are. So what's yours? Mine is YouTube. What's yours? I'm challenging you. The next one that I think is hugely, hugely profound to being visible is to honor your dreams, your goals, your passions. And why this one is so important is because when life kicks in, you forget that you had dreams, your goals. I remember when I wanted to start YouTube, this is something I've always wanted to do, to connect with women, to learn from other women. And so I always kept it in the back burner, but it always calls at me. In fact, I called someone to help me with the videos, and I'm paraphrasing this, I'll not mention his name, but he told me that if you do not honor your dreams, it's going to become a nightmare. It's going to haunt you. And this is part of being visible. It's really honoring those parts of you or things about you that you know have always called you to be. It's a bigger thing. It's impact. It's legacy. You know, I know people who are in finance who all they want to do is inspire other women like I do, or all they want to do is cook and start a restaurant. What is it that you have put in the back burner that has been ignored for so long that if you do it, you will have so much joy in your life? A spark will be lit, and that you will be impacting many, many others. So think about it. And this happens because women, we are so used to being aligned with the system, you know, work hard, get a job. And many of us are not following our passions. What is it that you sleep at night and you know you would do it so effortlessly? Is it interior design? Is it cooking? Is it being, I don't know, it could be anything. Really, start and find space in your life to start honoring your dreams. And this will make you feel so visible than you've ever been. And it's a long-term path. So remember today we are talking about like long-term. So this is something that you will carry on for the rest of your life. And even if you're not sure, like I said in number 1, try a new skill. So let me know how it goes. Mine is this. This is part of my life's purpose, just connecting and learning from other women. So that's a second one I think that will be a huge game changer in terms of your long-term growth. Number 3 is find a spiritual practice that nourishes you or grounds you. I am a Christian, and for me, I find that reading scripture, praying does really something for me, because you realize that if you're looking towards people for visibility, it might never come. But scripture reminds me about how God values me, how much He loves me, how much I am honored as His daughter. And I think we miss out on this because life gets so busy. So whatever spaces you find to be alone in your spiritual practices, it is a huge, huge thing, because sometimes it can feel like our efforts or we're not being seen. But I find for me that those spiritual practices like reading the Bible, praying, it really does something for me. So whatever it is for you, do find that space. I know some people who meditate, you know, just in silence and listen, you know, just being even in nature, taking a walk. So find those practices that just really make you take pause. And I think this is a huge, huge, huge game changer. The other one that I think would really set you on the path to long-term growth is seeking help from those who have walked that journey before, or experts who could help you. And one of the big ones that people are now starting to talk about, people are now acknowledging that is important, is therapy. It's counseling, seeking out transformational life coaches. And why this is so important: if you want to be on the path to long-term growth, you need to go to the root cause of why you feel the way you do, because it's a mindset issue. It could be issues that you've dealt with in the past that you've never shared with anybody. So things like therapy, things like talking to a coach who can help you unlock some of these areas is hugely important. And I know coaches have gotten a bad reputation, but here's the way to think about it. For example, if you are feeling invisible in your career, a career coach is someone probably who has been HR for many years, or they've been in the corporate world, and their passion is helping other women get unstuck in their careers. So find one that you resonate with, seek their expertise, and sit down and see how you can become better at speaking out at the workplace. If you go to therapy, it's the same thing. This is someone who is willing to help you connect the dots. Why do you feel the way you do? Why do you feel so tired all the time? Why do you feel invisible? I think there's power in not only doing something about feeling invisible, but seeking out long-term feedback and long-term growth, so that when those times occur when you're feeling invisible, then now you have the tools you can then realize, oh, this is happening. Here's how I bounce back. So these are some of the tips. Today I wanted to keep it really short, but really to remind you that you can go beyond short-term to long-term solutions. And here's the thing, I want to encourage anyone that's watching this and you're feeling like you don't matter. Really, you do. And the main reason why I started this channel is for us to have conversations about women, about the things that are unspoken for, things that we don't really share with anyone, you know, our pains, our experiences. And being invisible is one of those things, especially as you grow older, because youth in its very nature is very visible. It's hard to see a young person who's not noticed. But something happens in your 40s and your 50s where you feel like young people are now taking over and, you know, you're just the other woman. This is especially crucial as you grow older for you to remind yourself of who you are and the power that you yield. So thank you so much for joining. This was a really, really short episode, but I wanted to share other avenues that you could explore. So take back your power. Go to therapy or counseling, seek out transformational services or even literature. You know, you would even be amazed in online spaces. There are so many women who are really now having content about how to be more confident, or even channels like this one. Subscribe. You know, make sure that you have a spiritual practice that grounds you. Make sure that you are learning a new skill and you're honoring your dreams and your goals. And I bet you'll be better for it. So thanks for sticking around. If you know a woman who would benefit from this kind of conversations, if you're passionate about womanhood, if you're passionate about all things women, our health, we are going to cover so many topics, please let them know. And yeah, we'll start a new series next week or the other one. And do like, do share, do subscribe, and keep it here. And until next time, bye bye.